Hey there guys, it's Brad again with another Ask Brad, and today's Ask Brad is a response to a question that I received by email from a fellow named Tristan. G'day Tristan. So Tristan reached out, he's currently a tradie, and he's interested in the field of dog training, and he's drawn to get involved in the specialist area of training guard dogs and police dogs. So I figured that this is a good opportunity for me to share some general information and my take on things. So first of all, let's make some distinctions between guard dogs and police, law enforcement type dogs. Many dogs can fulfill a guard dog type role. A lot of guard dogs are very suspicious dogs. It's a role that certain breeds of dogs that have had insufficient socialisation and that kind of thing can actually go on and fulfill quite well because of that requirement for suspicion. That's the word that I was looking for. I probably shouldn't have had that extra coffee. When we start looking at police and law enforcement type dogs, there are comparatively few dogs by population standards that are capable of fulfilling those roles. And if you want to see an example of what I mean, the general public has a perception that a German Shepherd can be a police dog, and we certainly know that from shows like Inspector X and going right back to Rin Tin Tin and other TV dogs. But if you go to a German Shepherd national show, what you'll quickly come to understand is, in working terms, the German Shepherd is not what it is supposed to be and not what it once was. And the same goes for other breeds as well. I'm just picking the German Shepherd as a stereotypical police dog. Of course, yes, we can get into the whole, well, other dogs can do police type work. Typically it's German Shepherds or Malinois here in Australia, with very, very few exceptions to that. So, what's required to train a guard dog well is greatly different to what's required to train a law enforcement dog well. There's a much more substantial skill set required to train a police or law enforcement dog to a standard that is able to be deployed confidently on the street and keep that dog's officer partner safe. So for Tristan, he's looking at getting into specialising in that field. We can make two distinctions here. The way that things work here in Australia and also in a large part overseas is that guard dog providers tend to be on the sketchy side of things. Certainly not all of them. There are some reputable businesses, but if you want to do a Google search for Australian businesses providing guard dogs, there are some very nefarious suppliers that come up quite high on that Google search. We're going to leave that alone. I'm not interested in naming any particular businesses, but it's definitely a greasy side of the dog training industry, with a few notable exceptions and bright lights. In terms of training dogs for law enforcement, well, that's very, very difficult for a civilian to get into. In fact, it's almost impossible. It's not entirely impossible. It's almost impossible. The best way to get into doing that, Tristan, join your state police force, go through the academy, pursue that process of becoming a canine officer. You become a handler before you become a trainer, most likely. And then from there you can go on and you can sort of indulge that passion that you have for working with those kind of dogs. If you wish to pursue it as a civilian and keep going in your trade, then my suggestion is that and this is a suggestion to anyone getting involved in the training of protection dogs, as distinct from sporting dogs, and when I say protection dogs, dogs that are designed to show civil aggression towards people in a variety of real life scenarios. A sound understanding of basic canine behaviour, even advanced canine behaviour, and building the ability to train basic behaviours in a number of ways to create a happy, reliable outcome is never going to disadvantage you from building a skill set within yourself that is able to produce the type of results where you may be able to say, place a dog that you have raised and or trained with a law enforcement agency. So if you can't do the basic stuff, if you can't take a poodle and teach a poodle to sit, or a Labrador and teach a Labrador to sit, or a Kelpie and teach a Kelpie to sit, if you can't teach that dog to go on its bed, if you don't understand how to work with drive, right? If you can't identify different emotional states such as anxiety or conflict or aggression or simple anger, right? Then it's really, really going to be difficult for you to be of use to someone that in the civilian world that is developing dogs towards the law enforcement side of things. So if you're looking to, and this advice is again to you, Tristan, if you're looking to go through a formal education, which is a great idea, if you're going to look to become a dog trainer in the civilian world first, moving towards that side of things, formal learning's great, as I've just said. However, you really need to be careful about your course. Before you choose a course to enroll in, you definitely want to start asking around about the type of learning outcomes that those students have. You could even ask more experienced people in the industry that might be employing those students. Do they see any gaps in those courses? A lot of the courses around don't have a great connection to industry, and there are you also need to be asking questions about the student experience within those courses, because reports vary wildly from course to course and even from people within the same course. So there is an exciting new course which is going to set the Australian standard, though. That course, I understand that it will be available later this year or early next year. It's actually a diploma level dog training course. It's been developed by a woman named Kelly Gulliver. It will become Australia's premier formal qualification for anyone looking to enter the dog training industry with a diploma level accreditation. And that very, very quickly, I think we're going to find that in terms of the dog training industry, that is the minimum jump off point that people like myself who may employ a dog trainer to do work within their business, that they are going to be looking for. So hopefully, Tristan, that helps. Hopefully I've covered off on a number of points. Hopefully some more of you out there look at what Tristan has asked and see some of your own questions reflected in the answers that I've given. So that's it for now, guys. It's a longer video. I'll get it posted. You guys take care, and we'll see you for the next Ask Brad.